Today we're going to talk about a situation that has generated a lot of opinions and comments about Taeyoung and Jungkook, which has been a topic of conversation lately among many people who are jumping to the wrong conclusions. Recently, images and videos were shared where Jungkook, Taeyoung, and Jimin were seen at a restaurant. This generated a lot of reactions on social media. Some people started saying things that are not correct or make sense, so it's important to tell the story from the beginning and with verified information. We were able to confirm that the restaurant waiter said that Taeyoung and Jungkook had gone together twice. That outing wasn't just any outing, it was a private date between the two, something that isn't new to those who follow their relationship closely. They mentioned that they had plans to return to that place. In other words, it was a decision made by the two as a couple. On July 20th, they kept their word and returned to the restaurant. This time they didn't go alone, they brought Jimin with them. It's important to clarify this because it was their decision, not something improvised or forced. Despite this, some people began to criticize Taeyoung's presence, asking why he's always there when Jungkook and Jimin are together. But the explanation here is simple. Taeyoung and Jungkook went first as a couple, and then decided to return and share that moment with a close friend like Jimin. This shouldn't cause confusion if you understand the order of events. After the visit to the restaurant, it was also observed that Jimin was the first to leave, accompanied by someone from the staff. Then, almost at the same time, Jungkook and Taeyoung left. This detail was also used by some people to invent situations that didn't happen. They said the three left separately because they weren't really together or because they didn't want to show themselves. But if we look closely, it was just a difference in the departure times, nothing more. Some people's reaction was negative, not because of the fact of seeing the three of them together, but because when Taeyoung and Jungkook appear in the same place, it seems to bother those who don't accept or understand their relationship. Some prefer to imagine other bonds, and that's why any moment the couple shares generates comments, but there's one thing that can't be denied: every time Jungkook and Taeyoung are together, a different, closer connection is noticeable. Jungkook has always shown a special kind of affection toward Taeyoung, something that needs no explanation because it's evident in his behavior. This situation, like many others in the past, shows that no matter how many times they try to divert attention or create stories that don't match reality, the relationship between Taeyoung and Jungkook remains strong. It's not something they hide or something that needs to be proven with words, because actions speak for themselves. Even if many people don't want to see them together, they will continue to see them, because their bond is clear and natural. Now I want to talk to you about a topic that has generated a lot of opinions on social media. It's a rumor related to Jungkook, Jimin, and the restaurant in particular. Some people have been saying that Jungkook and Jimin had already visited that place before, and that they even left their signatures there as proof. However, this story is not how it is being told. Every time Jungkook appears in a public place, there are those who try to relate everything he does with Jimin. This happens frequently. All it takes for Jungkook to move, smile, or visit a place is for certain people to start saying that everything is connected to Jimin. The funny thing is that many times, these connections have no basis. Stories are simply made up, things are taken out of context, or details are exaggerated to make everything seem like a sign. In this case, what some people are claiming is that Jungkook and Jimin went to that restaurant together and that they left their signatures on a wall as a souvenir of that visit. According to this version, now that Jungkook has returned to the restaurant, everything indicates he's reliving past moments with Jimin. But that's not true. The truth is, those signatures aren't from the restaurant. Those autographs were given a long time ago, when both Jimin and Jungkook were serving their military service. They signed them for a comrade who was with them during that time, not at the restaurant as they're claiming. In other words, the signatures do exist, but they have nothing to do with the story they're telling now. Even a fan who supports both Jungkook and Jimin, but doesn't exaggerate with theories, clarified that what they're spreading is false and even a little embarrassing. However, such sensible opinions aren't always heard. Often, what's most shared are unsubstantiated theories or edited images that only seek to support an idea that isn't based on real facts. Another important detail to keep in mind is that Jungkook and Taehyung had already visited that restaurant before. In fact, they've been a couple for a while and tend to share many moments together, although they don't always do so publicly. On this occasion, they decided to return to the restaurant and brought Jimin with them as a friend, which isn't unusual considering the close relationship they've all had within the group. What we see in this case is simply a group of friends sharing a meal, and nothing more. Despite this, there are still those who insist on creating stories around Jungkook and Jimin, as if they can't accept that things have changed. Taehyung and Jungkook have a stable relationship and have been building something serious and real. They care for each other, support each other, and enjoy spending time together, without needing to show everything to the world. That's why it's important for people to respect their space and not try to create stories that no longer make sense. Instead of continuing to insist on old ideas, it would be best to learn to recognize reality. Not everything Jungkook does is related to Jimin. And there's nothing wrong with that. Each one is following their own path, and although they have all been companions for years, that does not mean that all their actions are connected by something more. The relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung has been discreet but firm. They have shown that their relationship goes beyond rumors or appearances. They support each other both personally and professionally, and their shared moments reflect a trust and closeness that needs no explanation. The two have chosen to walk together, and that is what truly matters. Those signatures that are being shown as proof have no relation to the restaurant. They are not recent, nor were they part of a special visit between Jungkook and Jimin. The story is different. Taehyung and Jungkook went to the restaurant, and at some point, they invited Jimin to share with them. Everything else that is being said is nothing more than a poorly told story. It is important to be careful with the information you share. Assumptions, rumors without proof, and misleading edits only confuse people and divert attention from what is really going on. In this case, what happened was a simple outing among friends, organized by a couple who had already been there before. Over time, the connection between Taehyung and Jungkook has become clearer. They aren't the brief, rare moments of the past. Now, what we see between them happens more often, without pause or hesitation. That closeness has grown without any need for explanation. Looking at their gestures, it's clear they're not doing something forced. They're not following a script. It's something natural that grows between the two. They're comfortable being themselves, unafraid of stares or comments. This freedom they've taken to act as they want, without hiding, also shows that their relationship has reached a strong point. And Taehyung members know this, having followed their story from the beginning. The touches between them are no longer rare moments or exclusive to certain events, now they're constant. The hugs, the long glances, the gentle gestures, are not repeated with other members of the group. It's as if they have their own language, one that is understood without the need for words. When they prepare before a concert, that bond is also evident. Jungkook approaches Taehyung, speaks softly, calms him, and transmits strength. Taehyung responds with a smile, a calm gesture, a touch of his arm. These aren't things that happen only in front of cameras. They also happen in the most intimate moments, without an audience, without lights. This reinforces that their relationship is real. These details have attracted attention for years. And although they were rarely seen before, now they're part of everyday life. The frequency with which they happen makes it clear that the relationship has strengthened. There are no pauses. There are no signs of doubt. There is only security and constancy. When Taehyung and Jungkook are together, everything changes. It's not just physical closeness. It's care, attention, dedication. Each seeks the other's well-being. There's no need to talk much. They understand each other with a simple glance. That's why many Taeyoung fans affirm that what exists between them cannot be ignored. Because it's not something created by fans. It's there, visible to everyone. And those who have watched them for a long time can notice that, far from fading, their bond continues to grow, displaying a connection unlike any other. One of the most striking aspects of Taeyoung and Jungkook's relationship is how they use their bodies to express themselves. They don't need to say much or use big words. They communicate through touch, through glances that last longer than usual, through gentle movements. It's a way of being that only exists between them. When they hold hands, it's not a casual gesture. It's a way of showing closeness. When one massages the other, the calm they convey is noticeable. There's a gentle energy between the two, as if everything around them has stopped. That kind of connection isn't replicated with other people. It exists only between the two of them. There are many videos where you can see this in different contexts. In one, they're backstage before going on stage. Jungkook places his hands on Taeyoung's shoulders. He speaks very softly, and Taeyoung nods without saying anything. Then they look at each other for a few seconds. It's a simple scene, but it speaks volumes. It reflects how one balances the other, how they prepare together for what's coming.